Nobody was prepared for this confession. Not the fans, who thought they'd seen every Braxton scandal. Not the insiders who believed the family's darkest chapters were already sealed. And absolutely not the people who spent years dismissing one sister's warnings as drama. Because the moment Ashlee Braxton opened her mouth, the entire legacy cracked, and what spilled out was terrifying. This wasn't a tease. This wasn't a rumor. This was a controlled explosion. One statement that turned whispers into screams and forced the internet to confront a question it had been avoiding for years. What if Tamar was right the whole time? Ashlee didn't come with shade. She came with scars. She came with names. She came with allegations so disturbing that timelines froze and comment sections turned into war zones within minutes. She described manipulation that felt calculated. Abuse that hid behind family loyalty. And silence that protected the wrong people while breaking her in the process. And then came the moment that made it unbearable. Ashlee hinted at proof. Messages. Audio. Years of receipts sitting in a folder she'd been afraid to open. The kind of evidence that doesn't just ruin reputations, it rewrites history. Social media erupted instantly. Old clips resurfaced. Tamar's past outbursts suddenly sounded like warnings. Fans realized this wasn't a messy reality TV drama. This was something darker. Something buried. Something explosive enough that people tried to keep it hidden for years. Because if Ashlee is telling the truth, this isn't just a scandal. It's a reckoning. And the most dangerous part. She hasn't shown everything yet. The moment Ashlee Braxton hit publish, everything ruptured. Not slowly. Not politely. It felt like someone had yanked the emergency brake on the entire Braxton narrative at full speed. 1 second, her page was quiet. The next, it was chaos, comments multiplying faster than the app could load, verified accounts lurking without speaking, insiders scrambling, fans screaming that they finally understood what Tamar had been trying to say for years. Ashlee didn't ease into it. According to people close to her, this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment confession. This was pressure that had been building for years, sealed behind smiles, family dinners, and reality TV edits. And when she finally spoke, she spoke with the kind of clarity that only comes after someone has stopped being afraid of the consequences. She said she had been misused, emotionally exploited, manipulated in ways that made her question her own reality. And then she named the people she says were at the center of it, Trina and Trina's ex. The internet froze. Because those weren't vague references. Those were names tied to power, legacy, and a family brand built on unity. Ashlee described her younger years with Trina as something sacred. Trust. Admiration. Safety. She talked about seeing Trina as more than an aunt. Someone she leaned on. Someone who felt like protection in a family where hierarchy mattered. Holidays spent together. Long conversations. A sense of belonging she believed was unbreakable. And that's what made what followed feel like a betrayal she still struggles to put into words. Her tone shifted when she talked about Trina's ex. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't performative. It was careful, almost clinical, like she'd rehearsed saying it without emotion just to survive. She said it started small. Comments that lingered too long. Jokes that crossed lines, but were laughed off by others. Questions that felt invasive, but were framed as concern. Ashlee said she told herself she was overthinking it, because that's what young women are taught to do, especially in powerful families. Don't misinterpret. Don't cause problems. But according to Ashlee, it escalated. She said the attention became uncomfortable, then alarming. She said boundaries were crossed in ways that left her frozen, not knowing how to react without being blamed for making it weird. When she finally used the word predatory, social media erupted. That single word turned speculation into fury. What shocked people most wasn't the allegation itself. It was what Ashlee said happened next. She said she went to Trina. Directly. Privately. She said she explained that something didn't feel right, that she felt unsafe, that she needed help. And instead of protection, she says she was met with dismissal. Confusion. Silence. She says her feelings were minimized, reframed as misunderstanding, brushed aside as sensitivity. According to Ashlee, the phrase that followed her everywhere was the same: don't make things messy. She said it like it was a warning and a command at the same time. Don't ruin relationships. Don't embarrass the family. Don't turn this into drama. That phrase became the cage she says she lived in for years. Then she said the sentence that detonated everything: silencing me protected him. The internet collectively inhaled. Because in that moment, Tamar's past rage suddenly made sense. Fans immediately resurfaced old interviews where Tamar accused the family of protecting the wrong people. Clips where she screamed about things being swept under the rug. Moments that were once dismissed as theatrics suddenly felt like alarms no one wanted to hear. Ashlee said Tamar was the only one who believed her. The only one who didn't question her instincts. The only one who tried to intervene. That admission flipped the narrative overnight. Tamar, long painted as volatile and dramatic, was suddenly being reframed as the only one who saw the danger and tried to stop it. Ashlee went further. She said there were other moments, other situations, other young women who felt uncomfortable around the same man. She didn't name them. She didn't give details. But the implication alone sent fans spiraling into theories, timelines, and side-by-side comparisons of old footage. Then came the moment that turned this from confession to countdown. Ashlee said she still had messages, texts, records, things she never released out of fear and loyalty. As she spoke, she lifted her phone and showed the screen. Notifications lighting up. A folder visible. Labeled with years that stretched back nearly a decade. She said this is where the truth lives. She didn't open it. She closed the phone slowly and looked straight into the camera. She said she would share it if she had to. And that decision, to stop right there, felt intentional. Calculated. Terrifying. Within minutes, TikTok was on fire. Twitter turned into a courtroom. Instagram comment sections became battlefields. Old episodes were dissected frame by frame. Fans zoomed in on Ashlee's expressions from years ago, saying they could see the pain now that they knew where to look. And just when it felt like the internet couldn't take any more, whispers started spreading about audio. About voice notes. About things circulating quietly in DMs that hadn't gone public yet. The story wasn't slowing down. It was accelerating. Because Ashlee hadn't just told her story. She'd made it clear she was sitting on proof. And the world was about to find out whether the people she accused were ready for what happened if that folder ever opened. The internet didn't wait for confirmation. It never does. The second Ashlee closed that phone without opening the folder, the chaos went feral. TikTok timelines refreshed themselves into oblivion. Twitter became a courtroom with no judge and millions of jurors. Instagram comments scrolled so fast they blurred into static. And in the middle of it all was one burning question that refused to die. What was she hiding, and who was terrified of it coming out? Within hours, anonymous accounts started popping up like clockwork. No profile pictures. No history. Just claims. Screenshots. Voice notes that felt too specific to be random. One audio clip hit first. Scratchy. While Ashlee stood firm, Trina vanished. No posts. No comments. No likes. Radio silence. And in internet culture, silence is never neutral. It's either strategy or panic. Fans interpreted it as guilt. Bloggers framed it as hiding. Group chats turned brutal. People demanded statements. Demanded accountability. Demanded she speak now. Then Tamar stepped into the fire like she'd been waiting for this moment her entire life. She went live, not naming names, but saying everything she needed to say. She talked about truth being inconvenient. About how you'll never listen to me. About being painted as crazy when you're the only one paying attention. The live was barely 10 minutes long, but it changed the temperature completely. Clips of it went viral instantly. People slowed it down. Added captions. Paired it with old interviews where she'd warned the family years ago. Suddenly Tamar wasn't dramatic. She was prophetic. And then the next bomb hit. A screenshot allegedly from a Braxton family group chat began circulating. It looked real enough to terrify people. One message appeared to show Tony saying this is getting out of hand. Another showed Trina saying she needs to stop lying. And then Tamar's reply, lying about what? Say it. The screenshot spread like wildfire. No one could confirm its authenticity, but no one could ignore how accurately it reflected the tension playing out publicly. As if that wasn't enough, a mysterious DM thread surfaced from an account claiming to be a former Braxton Family Values producer. The messages were chilling. They claimed certain topics were off-limits. Certain reputations were protected. Scenes were cut. Conversations scrapped. And then the line that changed everything: we were told Ashlee's concerns were off-limits. That single sentence reframed the entire saga. This wasn't just family dysfunction. This was alleged systemic silencing. Brand protection. Money. Image. Suddenly, the narrative wasn't about one aunt and one ex. It was about an entire machine designed to keep things pretty while someone suffered quietly. Fans started re-watching old episodes with new eyes. Moments where Ashlee sat quietly in the background. Scenes where she looked uncomfortable. Times when cameras conveniently cut away. People zoomed in on her body language, saying they could see sadness, fear, resignation. TikTok creators made side-by-side comparisons. Reddit threads turned into investigations. Then another anonymous drop appeared. A blurry photo. A woman who looked like Ashlee crying in a bathroom, mascara streaked, phone in hand. No timestamp. No context. Just pain. Real or not, it broke people. Comment sections flooded with rage and empathy. How many times had she been breaking alone while the world laughed at family drama? Before anyone could recover, another clip leaked. An unaired scene from years ago. Trina sitting at a table. Someone off camera asking if she ever worried about who she let around her niece. Trina laughs it off, saying the family knows the vibes, she's safe here. The word safe became the dagger. Fans lost their minds. They replayed it. Paused it. Screamed into comment sections. And then the ex inserted himself. Not with a statement. Not with a denial. With a single dismissive comment on a random page: "You're believing lies again." The internet imploded. Ashlee screenshot it and reposted it with one caption: "And this is why I said what I said." Then she added the sentence that turned anticipation into hysteria: "You want me to open the folder now?" That was the moment everything tipped from chaos into countdown. Lives were postponed. Influencers camped in her comments. Blogs refreshed constantly. Everyone knew if that folder opened, there would be no going back. But Ashlee didn't open it yet. Because just as the world was holding its breath, Trina finally reappeared. And instead of calming the storm, she poured gasoline on it. She posted a screenshot of the dictionary definition of false allegations, circled in red, with a caption about people wanting attention. Cold. Dismissive. Brutal. The backlash was immediate and vicious. Why are you talking about attention instead of accountability? So your niece is lying for clout. This is exactly what Tamar warned us about. Minutes later, Trina doubled down with another post, "People forget we have receipts too." That sentence shattered the internet. Because now it wasn't just exposure. It was a war. And everyone knew the next move would decide who burned. Tamar went live again, shaking with fury, saying she was done covering for anyone. That if people kept playing with the truth, she would tell it all. All of it. And as fans celebrated, terrified and thrilled, one thing became clear. This wasn't reaching a conclusion. It was winding up for something far more devastating. By the time Trina posted that she had receipts too, the story stopped being reactive and turned nuclear. This wasn't defense anymore. This was escalation. Fans immediately split into camps, not quietly, not respectfully, but violently online. Timelines turned into battlegrounds. Comment sections became war rooms. And hovering over everything was the same unbearable question: who was lying, and who was about to prove it? Tamar didn't wait. She went live again, and this time the energy was different. Not controlled. Not measured. She was shaking, not with fear, but with rage that had been sitting in her chest for years. She didn't say names, but she didn't have to. She talked about people flipping truth into lies. About watching someone be gaslit in real time. About being done protecting anybody who didn't protect a child. When her voice cracked, the internet cracked with it. Clips spread instantly. Captions screamed, "Tamar confirmed it." Old footage resurfaced of Tamar crying about betrayal, about being silenced, about the family choosing image over honesty. The internet crowned her the one who tried to warn everyone. And while Tamar was lighting the match, the ex poured gasoline. He started posting cryptic messages that felt like threats disguised as confidence. "Y'all don't know the full story. I'm not scared of lies. People forget I kept quiet too." That word "too" echoed like a siren. Too about what? Too for who? Fans spiraled, convinced he was implying leverage, secrets, dirt that hadn't been exposed yet. Every post was screenshot within seconds. Every comment dissected. Every emoji interpreted like code. Then another anonymous account dropped what looked like an email. Allegedly from a former Braxton Family Values producer. The message claimed they were legally blocked from airing a scene where Ashlee tried to express discomfort about Trina's ex. It said the family threatened to pull out of filming if the topic was addressed. Whether real or not, the email detonated the narrative. Because suddenly, this wasn't just about personal silence. It was about institutional silence. About a network. Contracts. Money. Brand protection. Fans weren't just angry anymore. They were horrified. People began re-watching the show like it was evidence. Scenes where Ashlee sat quietly in the background were slowed down, zoomed in, analyzed. Fans said they could see her dissociating. That her body language screamed discomfort. Moments that once felt boring suddenly felt sinister. TikTok became a forensic lab. Reddit turned into a case file. And then something happened that nobody was prepared for. A video surfaced. Dim lighting. Grainy quality. Toni Braxton herself. The chat exploded. People begged her to open the folder. To show everything. To end it. She didn't rush. She took a breath. She said this wasn't about clout, or storylines, or reality TV. This was about being a child who wasn't protected. That sentence silenced the chat instantly. Thousands watching. No comments. Just hearts and crying emojis floating upward like smoke. Then she said the words that pushed the entire saga into irreversible territory. She said it wasn't just her. That she wasn't the only one made uncomfortable. That she wasn't the only one whose boundaries were crossed. And then she said, they know that. Names began flying in the chat. Accusations everywhere. The energy shifted from gossip to something far darker. Ashlee lifted her phone again. The folder appeared on screen. The same one. Years labeled. Receipts promised. Her thumb hovered. She said she didn't want to do this, but people kept pushing her, kept gaslighting her, kept daring her to prove her pain. She looked exhausted. Determined. And then the screen froze. The live cut out. At first, people thought it was a glitch. Then her account went private. Her profile picture disappeared. Her bio vanished. Everything wiped clean. Panic spread instantly. Fans screamed that the family shut it down. That someone hacked her. That this was a real-time cover-up. Seconds later, a single Instagram story appeared on her account before it, too, disappeared. They made me delete it. The internet shattered. Who made her delete it? How? Why now? Was it legal pressure? Family pressure? Network pressure? No one knew. And that not knowing made it worse. Blogs updated frantically. Influencers went live speculating. Celebrities hovered in the comments, liking posts, but saying nothing. Silence became suspicious. Everyone looked guilty. Now the world is holding its breath. Because something forced Ashlee offline at the exact moment she was about to expose everything. And whatever that something is, it's still moving. Still powerful. Still invested in keeping that folder closed. This isn't just celebrity mess anymore. This is a full-blown crisis unraveling in real time. And the next piece of information, another leak, another live, another message, could flip the entire story upside down. If you're still watching, you already know this isn't over. And you know you can't afford to blink. Because when the truth finally breaks through, it won't come gently. It will come fast. And it will change everything. If you're still here right now, don't scroll. Don't blink. Don't assume this story is done, because it isn't. What you just watched wasn't a recap. It was the opening of a vault that somebody desperately tried to slam shut in real time. Lives don't get cut. Accounts don't disappear. Posts don't get wiped unless something dangerous is sitting just beneath the surface. This is one of those moments people will pretend they understood after everything comes out. They'll say they knew something was off. They'll act like the warning signs were obvious. But the truth is, stories like this move fast, and the people who miss one update end up confused, manipulated, and fed a version of events that's already been cleaned up. If you believe silence protects the wrong people, hit like so this conversation doesn't get buried. If you think gaslighting thrives when nobody is paying attention, drop a comment, because those comments keep this story alive and visible. And subscribe right now with notifications on, because the next leak won't wait for you to catch up. It will drop, disappear, and be rewritten before you even realize it happened. Missing the next chapter doesn't just mean missing drama. It means missing context. Missing truth. Missing the moment where everything finally clicks. Stay here. Stay alert. Because whatever forced Ashlee offline didn't erase the truth, it only delayed it. And when it resurfaces, you're going to want to say you were here before everyone else pretended they always knew.